What is going on, everybody? Real quick, type in the chat where you guys are calling in from around the world. I'm here in Southern California, Laguna Beach, California. We have New Zealand on the call, Wisconsin. Who's that from New Zealand? Let's go. We got Michael from New Zealand. We got Ty from New Zealand. Just cracked Platinum 2000. Shout out to you, brother. Colorado Springs, Santa Maria, Austin, Texas, Cape Cod. Let's go. Let's go. LA, Baltimore, Phoenix, Arizona, Portland, Wilmington, North Carolina, Tampa. Let's get it, guys. Well, I appreciate you for hopping on this call. Welcome to Elevate Mentorship. This is where we bring the absolute best in the game, the top earners in I Am Mastery Academy, to come on here and give you guys mentorship on how you can take your business and your life to the next level. We don't just build event to event. We build from call to call, and we're doing these calls every single Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, leading up to convention. I'm your host, Chairman 100, Joey Wilson, and I am grateful to do these calls because the people that we have coming on here, we have some of the most amazing educators. We have some of the most amazing top earners, network marketers in this entire profession within our company. And I'm just extremely grateful for that. And I'm like, dude, when we were at Glendale convention, I saw all these, all the people, all the top earners go up on stage and share their, do their talks. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, we have the absolute best in the world right here with this company, for real, from all walks of life. And so I said, we have to do these calls every single week to give everybody value. Even myself, I need to keep my batteries recharged every single week. So I'm super excited for this call. And a couple housekeeping things before I even get into it and introduce our speaker. Step number one, if there is money talked about on this call, just know there's no guarantees regarding income. Your success or failure depends on your own skill set and personal effort. Basically saying if you don't do anything, you're not going to make any money. But if you plug into our system that's in place, if you follow the guidance and the mentorship of the people that you hear on these calls, sky's the limit. Matter of fact, there is no limit. There's absolutely no limit here. And so there is no guarantees regarding income. Step number two is make sure that you're taking notes on these calls. There's like 21 weeks left before convention. And if you're on every single one of these calls, you can have trainings from every single week leading up to convention. So when you walk that stage as a brand new chairman, you can say, you know what helped me elevate my game to that next level was that Elevate Mentorship. So make sure you're taking notes, because we all know the reality is we forget 90% of the information that we hear if we don't write it down. So make sure you're taking notes, whether it's on a notepad, whether it's in your notes tab, whatever it is. And step number three, housekeeping number three, reach out to a couple more people in your organization. Do not let them miss these calls. This is everything, guys, for real. I've been doing this thing for 10 years. I know how important it is to stay plugged in. If people in your organization aren't plugged in, sometimes you have to push them to plug in, because I want to build this thing to last, right? I don't want to build it on sand. I'm not building the sandcastle. I want to build this thing on a solid foundation, on concrete. And so I have to make sure my organization is on these calls so they can stay fired up and excited week to week and stay focused and on track with their goals to where they're headed to Orlando convention. And so with that being said, guys, the speaker, if you're ready, by the way, for the speaker, type fire emojis in the chat, type 77 in the chat. Okay. This individual that I have the honor of introducing, I've been watching him and I've known of him way before he ever knew who I was. And I remember thinking, I'm like, this dude's a true professional, not just at network marketing, but also branding. Also being able, his capabilities to be able to teach people on how to go next level. He's the real deal. He was in the Army before he got in this company, and he did 3 tours to Afghanistan, 2 or 3 tours to Afghanistan, and he joined this company, hit Platinum 5000, parted ways with the Army, and he went all in with this thing. And not only is he a stud when it comes to network marketing, he's one of the best traders that this company has ever seen. Matter of fact, he was the first educator of this company other than the owner. Chris Terry knew him and knew that he was a beast at trading. He flew him out to his place. They sat down, went over some strategies and said, you know what? you're going to be the first educator of this company. And that's what he did for years. Not only that, he's a chairman 25. Okay, he's a chairman 25. So, you know, in the comp plan, that pays $25,000 a month. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly where he's going. I got my pen ready. I got my notepad ready. Give it up for my brother, Mr. Christopher Derrick. The floor is yours, bro.
Perfect. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you and we can see you.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so honored. I've been on these calls. Who here's been on these calls for the past couple of weeks, and the value that has been shared has been insane. You know, if you want the quickest way to success, just listen to individuals who've already been through these different trials and tribulations. And I truly want to give it back to, for Joy for even just setting this up. It takes, a leader that has humility and a leader who realizes that there's so much power in collaboration. So for him to be able to set these up and to connect with all the different leaders and have a place where they all come together every single Wednesday, it just showcases the type of selfless leader that Joey is. I've been watching him for a minute too as well. I feel like, with leaders, we kind of like stalk each other. Like we actually just like, respect each other from a distance, but we all learn from each other. And one of the few things that I like about, Joey is just the way that he's able to build a community. If you're able to see just like his leadership and the leaders within his business, you can see the sense of respect that the leaders have for him, which means that he's a servant leader, to be able to put people on this call. Like he understands the concept of putting people in front of others who have so much more valuable pieces of information, because we're all more powerful as a group rather than just individuals. So I want everybody, type some sevens into the chat for, Chairman 100, Joey Wilson, future Chairman 750. It's already done. He's already grinding like it's done already. So it's awesome, man. But yeah, I'm fully unprepared for this call. I have no idea what to talk about for everybody here. So if anybody could give me some ideas, that would help tremendously. No, I'm just kidding. I have all these topics. So if everybody could just, just be ready. We're going to go into this because I'm going to talk about creating a strong community. And who wants to build a strong community? And I'm just going to talk for the next 45 minutes, if that's okay with everybody. And one of the first things that I would ask for everybody to do, if it's possible, please don't do this if you're driving or you're naked. Please just turn on your videos so that way I can, I had to say that because I've seen some crazy stuff on Zoom. Who here has seen some crazy stuff on Zoom before, like things that you didn't ask to see? Okay. But yeah, just put the cameras on, man. Like, when it comes to community, it's about connection. And I honestly feel that, we could either be in a trending direction towards building that intimacy of relationships again and building that connection and that collaboration, while we live in a generation of the most socially disconnected individuals, but the most technologically social connected individuals. So I want to create that again. I want to be able to build a community where people could look at each other in the eye and listen to each other and carry each other's burdens and celebrate each other's successes. And if you're able to do that, oh my goodness, like the community that you'll be able to create is going to be so exponential. The quantum leaps that's built around the foundation of just faith and being able to pour into each other is so powerful. And who here wants that? Like, be honest, like you sit there and who wants to be able to experience, let's say, Chairman 750, Chairman 100, and then you have all these savage leaders. Like, how would it feel like to be able to have these savage leaders that are just caring about their people? They know about every single person's why, like every single person's goals, like every single person's, trials and tribulations. And, you're able to see it. Like, don't you want those type of leaders that are constantly doing events and trainings and serving others and building up people and uplifting each other? Like, we all want that, right? The question is, are we doing that ourselves? Are we doing that ourselves? Because a lot of times we want to have these things, but yet not be those things. And that's been the hardest, revelations that I've had in this entire business. I've also realized that if the foundation is not built on faith and built on God, is going to collapse every single time, right? Who here has experienced that before? When it's built on just the finances. I was listening to Pastor Erwin McManus this morning from Mosaic Church. He's talking about how it's weird how people who don't believe in anything but they believe in the universe. For some reason, they have it more figured out than people who have faith. It's like, for some reason, the people who have faith believe that God isn't working for you. So we tend to live in that paradigm. We live in this paradigm where we say that God shall meet all my needs, but yet we worry about where our money is going to come from every single day. Which, so if you really think about it in context, do we actually really believe in a higher power? Do we actually believe in a God that's there to care for us? And he's like, it's crazy. You'll see all these entrepreneurs, these successful individuals, and they'll say, oh, the universe just brings me all these things. It's like they have this, like, a truer perspective that the universe is bringing them something constant. The universe is always working for them all the time. And you know what Pastor Erwin said? Of course, the universe works for you, because God created the universe to work for you. He created everything to work for you. The problem is that a lot of people who are discouraged because they're in a season of where they're dictating their present moment and the future moments based off the past realities. How can we create a new thing if we're so stuck on everything else? Another tip for everybody here, because I know everybody has been through some type of momentum and also retracements. We can't heal the things that we don't reveal, right? So if you look at the momentum that has, let's say, collapsed for some individuals, it's because it wasn't real. It wasn't based off of real relationships. It wasn't based off of customer service. It wasn't based off of building each other up in the right way. And if we have the opportunity to correct this and change this, would we all do it? Would we all do it? So I had to shift. I had to change my mind. The moment I change my mind about things, the things that surround me starts to change. So you have to ask yourself right now, do you resent this opportunity or do you honor this opportunity? Because when you build things based off of obligation, you're always going to resent it. But if you base things off of privilege, you always honor it. Right? Whoever feels that you always receive the thing that you honor. So let's go into this. I got a good thing I didn't go off on that tangent, because I have a lot of notes. That was a 2-minute tangent. I'm doing better. Doing a lot better. 2-minute tangent. And for everybody that knows me, they're like, wow, good job, Chris. As it goes to 3 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. But so I did a training on just leadership in general. I'm going to go through this really fast, and then we're going to talk about sales. We're going to talk about sales, the one thing that a lot of people don't even want to talk about, right? There's a bunch of network marketers on this call, right? Just making sure. Okay. And if not, then, you know, I was just talking to a buddy of mine. He's in direct sales. He sells like tech. He called me today. He's like, you know what? SMX is not really for me. And I just wanted to call you and chop it up with you and just, you know, tell you phone to phone, you know, we're both in sales. I was like, yeah, well, if it's not for you, I still have this belief and conviction that we'll still be working together in the future. Like, do you understand conviction? Tony Robbins talks about this. He says, when two people meet, if there's rapport, the person who has the most confidence can be able to guide that conversation. Do you guys understand that we have all these different entities? We're not selling tech to people. We're selling so many different entities, different lifestyles. Some people might not want to do social media, but some people want to trade. Some people want to travel. Some people don't want to do that. They just want to do stocks. You know, like if you look at it, I said, hey, if you don't want to do social media, guess what? Maybe you want to travel. He said, well, I don't really travel. I was like, so when will you? Aren't you in a new relationship? Do you plan to marry this person? So you plan to never travel and have different experiences? I'm not saying that you should get into travel. I'm just asking you, do you ever plan to do that in the first place? See, what sales is providing people what they need, but also what they want. How many people have only focused on the things that they need? No, look at the shoes that you don't really need right now. How many people have bought shoes that they wanted? Has anyone experienced that? You bought shoes that they wanted. You bought clothes that you wanted. You bought concert tickets that you want. Did you need it? Was it a need? Like you had to have it in order to live, in order to survive? No, that's what you wanted. Maybe. For some people, maybe. Like, I have to go see Bad Bunny. Oh, I've seen some crazy people that are like that. Okay. But hey, it's needs and wants. If we could help people, Yeah, I would go see Rosalia too. I'm a huge fan. But if we could focus and help people fine tune and kind of go down this path to figure out what they need, but also what they want. And if we match those together, then you could be of service to somebody else. So sales is providing something to someone that they need and want. If you have both of those things, then it's game over. So that's why I said, hey, eventually there's going to be something you want. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, you think we're going to work together? Of course we're going to work together. You're in sales. Every single month, you have to hit a new quota. I ain't got to do that. You got to hit a new quota. If you don't get the quota, you don't get your bonus. What happens when you don't get your bonus? You stress. So what happens if you're able to take that same type of work ethic to put into something where this is the only business in the world where you have the ability to be able to build people up, strangers up, be able to grow random strangers, help people, and have a level of evangelism underneath. This is the only opportunity that we could be able to do this, to be able to save souls and to be able to save people's lives and show them, hey, you have the ability to be able to be in abundance. You have the ability to have so much provision. There's so many intangibles that's inside of you. There's so much opportunity. But if you focus on just the thing that's around you to your left and to your right, you're never going to see what's inside of you. Guess what? As leaders, we see what's inside of others that they don't see themselves. Look for the intangibles. If you see someone that's addicted to drugs, maybe they could be addicted to impacting. Who knows? If you see someone that's addicted to attention, maybe they could get addicted to sharing value via social media. Who knows? How many things have we shifted and something that was a thorn on our side that it turned to be our greatest asset, our greatest lesson, our greatest test, which became our greatest testimony? Is anybody getting value from this so far? So with this, who are you? Who are you as a person? You know, I'm going to be very transparent when it comes to business. And I'm also going to give you a spoiler alert for everybody here that's trying to hold themselves to a standard of what you see within chairmen's and chairwomen's. Guess what? Everybody's in retracement. I checked. I looked. Okay. The way that you could tell that somebody is going through something is based off if they're forcing you to do things. It doesn't come from a place of selfless service anymore. Like, why is someone so focused on getting you to grind? Why aren't they grinding? So when you start to get to this place, that's why I told the guy that I was talking to on the phone, I was like, bro, it's okay. Because we just launched a homie of mine into stocks. My other buddy on Saturday, after he's done being sick, is getting launched with FRX. Why would I be so worried about someone that doesn't want to do this if I see people every single day? See, the problem is if you feel that you don't see that this works for anybody, you haven't talked to enough people. You haven't heard enough stories. I guarantee you, if you hear enough stories, you'll hear a lot of pain. You hear a lot of pain. There's one thing that we have to understand. You only see what you see. So if all you see is around you, or even if you're comfortable, that's the worst. You know, Alex Morin told me one time, he's like, the most dangerous income is $10,000 to $25,000 a month. I was like, why is that dangerous, bro? That sounds like a good time, you know? And then it happened for me over 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I got comfortable. You know, I'm just going to be real and transparent with you guys to show you that sometimes God will bring you to the valleys to build the characteristics that are necessary for you to lead people up the mountain. Like, you have to go into those places. You have to be humbled. You have to get to this place of humility and understanding that every single person here is all growing together. We're all figuring it out. No one here is perfect. No one's here perfect. I went from 50 people away from Chairman 50 to all the way going down to pretty much P2K. Now I had one leg that was maxed out for like 750. I have another leg maxed out for pretty much Chairman 250, but I would just lose a team. I'll lose six-figure earners. You know, I would just lose these individuals. And I kept asking myself the question, I was like, why does this keep happening to me? Is it a mindset thing? Is it because I keep thinking about it? If you look at all the situations that's in your life, for all the things that are going wrong, and take accountability for the things that you can't control, you realize the key was in front of you the whole time. It was in front of you the whole time. So then I reflected and I started looking at what I needed to do. Rather than looking at just teams and logistics and everything, I asked myself the question of, am I even that person that's a Chairman 750? Because Chairman 750, you know what, is on my wallpaper. Your training involves risk, results not guaranteed. Like, you guys know what I'm talking about. But I see the residual. I see the weekly. You know, I stole it from someone's back office. I looked at it. Yeah, I have it on my wallpaper. So I see it. I see it. I see it. But do I even have the values and the work ethic of that individual? Do I have the emotional intelligence of that person? Do I have the sales skill of that person? Do I have the training skills of that person? Have I went through the trenches long enough? How do you know it was long enough? Because it happens. Until it's when we decide to delegate and manage is when things start to get a little weird. For some reason, individuals get to a place of, P1000. All of a sudden, they're like, this is it. Work for me. Build me volume. like, yo, it's not how this works, man. Like, you still got to serve. You still got to grow. Like, think about, like, you have to push through ranks, because if you hit it, you'll always hit it and fall back down. You got to push through. See, in these trials, I asked, I probably annoyed people like Alex Moore, and I probably annoyed people like Jason and Matt. I was like, what do I do now? I'm freaking losing it. And majority of the times it was hearing the things that I didn't want to hear. So how many of us are open to constructive criticism and to see it as a gift? So what are your values? What is your work ethic? Who are you as a person? I had to change the way that I do things, and not to get to a point that it puts me in this place of paralysis from analysis. For all the traders here, anybody ever experienced that? You just paralyzed. You're just not moving. I'm waiting on God. God did everything in 6 days. You understand that, right? Like, this is one thing that I tell people that are of faith, that are like, yo, I'm just waiting on God, I was like, God finished everything in 6 days, rested on the seventh because he was done. Jesus came here, did what he had to do, left us with a what? The Holy Spirit, and said there'll be more miracles flowing through who? That we'll do far more greater things. So God's not like, he's finished. He already finished. He gave us everything that we need to create the reality that we need to create. But for some reason, we tend to find these alibis and use them as excuses. Like, you have to think about it. I was listening to that sermon this morning, and he's like, if you look at the way that the parable of, like, okay, are you bearing your talents? What he was saying was, he doesn't want you to be a impoverished person. He's just giving you more to the person he can trust more with, because they work their field, they work their gifts, they work their talents. And for everybody here, you have all this untapped potential that's inside of you that needs to be awakened in order for you to go to the next level. You just got to spend time with people who are going to pour into that. Okay. So who are you? What are your values? What is your work ethic? Like, you have to shift these things. There's a lot of things I got to work on. Did you know that when you do the right thing, you're not going to feel happy? Because it's a different neuropath. Has anyone ever experienced this before? You try to stop drinking. You try to stop doing drugs, or you try to stop looking at social media. Social media is the worst. So you see people just like, like checking their phone, putting it back down, checking their phone, putting it back down. Like, what are you doing? He's like, just checking the time. It's only been like, the time hasn't changed. Like, it's been 3 minutes, man. Relax, So what I'm saying is, it's always okay to feel sad when you say goodbye to doing the wrong thing. You got to understand it's a chemical thing. For some people that you try to get to grind in the business, it's kind of hard for them to go on a Friday night grind session when they're in college and they got a party next door in a different dorm or whatever, or a house party. It's just a chemical thing. So what is the best way to be able to help those people? Never destroy the bridge. So when they're ready to cross it, they're ready to cross it. Never destroy the bridge. Always keep that bridge open. And this is coming from a person who's made so much mistakes. Who here has made mistakes in this industry? I feel that people who become the most vetted, who become the most with the most wisdom, which is knowledge combined with experience, the people who have the most stoicism, the most emotional intelligence, are just people who got so pissed off from damaging everything they touch. They got so sick and tired of doing things the wrong way. Who here has changed because of that? Said, I had a person that was the one. but I damaged the relationship, because the one thing that people want is to be seen, and they want to feel significant, and they want to feel a part of something, bigger than themselves. So when was the last time that you said, I appreciate you, or I see you, or I'm proud of you to your team? This is what people do instead. They buy them Airbnbs, spend money on them, and say that's grinding, and say that's part. Where they go, where they at? People left. But the people who you pour into, who you see, the people who you love every single day, the people who you actually have conversations on a consistent basis, just to hear them out. You know, one of the number one ways to get a sale done is this: be the person they could vent to. You know, I learned this from Ryan Serhant. He was talking about this. He says that, he's like, imagine, I'm going to use people as examples here. Let's say I'm talking to Tyler. Tyler's not in the platform. We're just chopping it up. He's like, dude, I've been going through so much. You have no idea. I'll write him or on the phone, depending on how we're communicating. I can't wait to hear all about it, brother. Let's catch up tomorrow. That has been one of the number one ways I've been getting people on calls. Can't wait to hear all about it. Can't wait to hear everything. And you just listen. And you listen. And you listen. And you do what I did in interrogations, except this time you're not circling nouns and subjects. You're circling pain points. And trying to find ways that you could be able to help them out. Can't wait to hear everything. How many people here would feel refreshed that somebody said that to you? You're going through the most craziest toxic drama. It could be the most craziest things. You could be that person that's like, I want to hear it. Only positive thoughts, only positive. I was like, okay, cool. So where does the carry your burdens part come into place? Like when hey, I don't want to carry your burdens. This is a burden on me. Just leave me alone. So then how are we going to build a business based off of carry each other burdens and being able to be there for each other and growing? Okay. Now, obviously, you don't sit there for 2 hours. It's called discernment and boundaries. Okay. The most disciplined people have the highest boundaries, the best boundaries. Boundaries are just these things that keep the energy inside of you to have you have more capacity to be able to give to other people. So what is your values? What is your work ethic? What is your communication skills? I understood. I was like, man, I get angry all the time. Anybody get angry all the time? It's like, man, they just wasted my time. Or like, I've been through that. And then I had to learn about communication. I had to learn about emotional intelligence. I had to learn about meeting people where they're at. And if I put people on a timetable of their life, that the only things, yeah, hopefully your wife's not on this call, right? But is moving wherever they're at in their life forward. I understood. I had to take responsibility. Can everybody here take responsibility for the things that didn't go well within their business? No, it was this person. No, there's a way. There's something, even if it's a little bit, even if there's one thing that like we could learn way more from taking accountability for the things that we could have done better. Maybe the person left from your business, or maybe the person didn't grind or go all in because every time they try to talk to you, you're just so stuck to your cell phone. Maybe that, who knows? It's these little tiny things that if we start to change and we start to take accountability, we start to grow. Okay. So what is your communication skills? Do we listen? Do you listen with your eyes? Like interrogation school, it's like, do you listen with your eyes? You listen with your eyes. So you're listening. You're paying attention. And are you creating the best response possible to what the other person is saying to you? Or are you coming with your own agenda? Who here doesn't like that? You're like, hey, I'm going through this, blah, blah, all this. And out of nowhere, they're like, so what do you want to eat? Like, what are you trying to eat? You're like, what? I just told you, like, I just went through a really bad breakup. Like, what's going on? I was like, oh, yeah. That's cool. So we have to understand communication skills are important. What do you absorb? I'm going to go through this really fast so I could go into the sales aspect. Who's down to go over some sales training? I've been studying sales training intensely. You're like, yeah, it's cool. Let's go Chipotle. That's cool. What do you absorb? Okay. What do you absorb every single day? You absorb books, you absorb audios. I'm going to also give you a tip too, as well. You know, for anybody that wants to do this, I'll go into that later, but what do you absorb? Next is self-awareness. Are you aware of yourself? Are you aware of your own thoughts? Are you aware of your own emotions? You even give yourself time to think. Like, everybody here knows what it takes to get to the next level, right? You got to talk to people. And you got to get on a crazy amount of calls, and you got to converse with people and not be emotionally connected to whether they say yes or no to see the opportunity, not get emotionally connected if they plug into the opportunity, or after they plug into the opportunity, if they decide to be really great students or just whatever, or you can't get emotionally connected if they decide to go all in. Isn't that the hard part? You give your all just to know nothing but what's going to happen next. You're just like, I don't know. Do everything efficiently, effectively, you pour. But here's the thing, though. You have to put yourself in that situation of being, okay, well, am I willing, for everybody here that wants to be a chairman or chairwoman, are you willing to personally enroll your way to chairman and chairwoman? Are you willing to do that? And if you're willing to do that, this game over. I'm going to show you my tracking of the places that I'm focusing on. And you guys are going to be like, okay, this dude went way too overboard. You ever met that person that just went way too much on the system, the game plan, and everything? I had to. I'm reading books of billionaires. You know what I'm saying? Like, they do some crazy things. You gotta do crazy things, you make crazy money. So it's like, yo, this work ethic that they have is insane. And you know what's crazy about majority of these millionaires and billionaires? They sleep 8 hours. That's a little side tip for everybody here, coming from one of the most stubborn people when it comes to that. Okay. So self-awareness. Are we self-aware? Situational awareness. I was in the military for 6.5 years. If we didn't do situational awareness, we ended up dead, or even worse, the reason why somebody passed. So if we don't have situational awareness in our business, someone's dreams could die. Even your own dreams could die. So are you having situational awareness? I'll give you an example of situational awareness. When there's an event or there's a function, do you just only talk to the leaders, or do you talk to the new people? Does everyone stand up in the front like they're the celebrities, or do you move around? I'm not saying that everyone does that. I'm just giving examples. If you're doing great, I'm not attacking you for being, you're already great. Okay. You're already doing amazing. But what I'm saying is, what if we've redirected the focus away from us? Because God didn't design us for fame. He didn't design us to look at ourselves. Why do you think we need affirmations from others? Why do you think we need encouragement from other people? Have you noticed that? How does it feel when you try to encourage yourself? It works sometimes, but how does it feel from the 3 to 5 people that mean the most to you, that tell you, I see that you're working hard. You're doing amazing. I'm proud of you. For some people in here, that was all you needed. You're recharged the next 7 days. You're like, I'm good to go. That's all I needed. Okay. So situational awareness. If you see someone sitting, you're like, yo, what's up? Like, how are you? How's your day? What's going on? Like, who invited you? Tyler invited you? Like, Tyler invited you. Do you know who Tyler is? Like, oh, you don't? He's probably one of the most developed, consistent individuals I've ever met in my entire life. Like, seriously. Like, you're in good hands. No, Siri. Sorry. But we have the ability to be able to help each other out if we could be able to talk to people and build relationships and have situational awareness. What's another thing? Emotional intelligence. Another thing is dropping expectations. Okay. I want the last 20 minutes to be about sales. So dropping expectations. That's difficult. You know that we could believe for the goal, but we don't got to put that expectation on other people. You guys understand that, right? Because who gives you the desires to your heart anyways? Is it those people? God could use those people, but you know that God's going to give it to you. So we had to learn this. And it's still like all this stuff that I'm telling you right now are all revelations of things that I'm working on. It's not things that I'm perfect at. Does everybody understand that? It's things that I'm working on. The difference is I got 93 friends on here that we can work on it together. That's the point, right? That's another side point, is understanding that whatever you're going through, everyone else is going through it too. Like, we have to stop zooming in on ourselves, thinking that our life, we're just being punished, not realizing that people to our left and to right are going through the same things. When I was talking to that guy earlier today, he's just like, yeah, man. He's like, I was like, my perspective on this is everybody needs money. Everybody needs time. Everyone needs vacations. Everyone needs, if they already have all that, they want to scale their social media. They want to learn how to monetize their YouTube. They want to learn how to do a podcast. You know, with the stuff that's coming on social media, there's going to be creative directors. They're going to be teaching you how to color grade, how to edit your pictures. Like, it's about to be insane. So don't get emotionally involved with the process. Be a door knocker. Has anyone ever seen door knockers or been a door knocker before? Be a door knocker. How do you be a door knocker? By starting conversations. If people are willing to be out here in Arizona, well, right now it's a little cooler now, but when it was 100-something degrees, knocking on doors, I met a guy who's literally making 10 to 15,000 a month selling ADT, knocking on doors. Do you know what got him interested? I was like, what if I told you there's a possibility, hypothetically speaking, maybe, if I make the same amount, except I'm able to talk to people through Instagram instead, and through social media, and through my cellular device. And I could honestly be in my boxers the whole time doing it. And his mind was just blown, where he was just like, I'm like, it's not about who could work the hardest, it's about who has the most leverage. Who has the most leverage. So you can work harder all day, every day, all day, every day. But if you don't have leverage, what's going to happen? You worked really hard. And we said, I worked so hard. I was like, yeah, well, there's a person who bought a home for $2 million. A year later, sold it for $4 million. Who worked harder? Who made more? Leverage. Okay. Now, don't over leverage. Risk 3%. Okay. For everybody here, risk 2 to 3%. Don't be going crazy with it. Chris told me to do over leverage. I never said that. Okay. So be a door knocker, conversation starter. Now, what are the biohacks for? The biohacks. Now, if I could give, you know how in some podcasts, like, if you could give 1 to 3 things that if everyone forgot, like, if the most important things, what would it be? If I would told you that for biohacks, it would be sleep. Okay. Dr. Huberman talks about this. This works perfectly. Go outside as soon as you wake up, go look at the sun for 5 minutes. It's scientifically proven that it literally starts everything up, and your circadian cycle starts for everybody that has trouble sleeping at night. Okay. It's powerful. So sleep, a gallon of water a day. And one of the best things for everybody here that wants to be chairman 100 or above, who wants to be chairman 100 or above? Okay. Who needs it and who wants it? needs and wants it. Okay. How would you feel if all the tedious things that you had to do in order to get to that position became enjoyable for you? Would you do it? Would you do it? Okay. This is going to sound crazy. I've been repeating this over and over again. People who work directly with me, they're probably like, he keeps saying this all the time. Well, do it, because it changes everything. Don't scroll on social media. Don't listen to music. I'm being dead serious on this. For everyone that's like, well, I can't do that. Okay, cool. Then things that are the tedious things will not be as enjoyable as you want it to be. You don't scroll. You ain't getting no fixes. You know, if you're not listening to music, the only time I listen to music, my exception, worship music, intentional worship time. Secondly, if I happen to have somebody in the car, because I'm not going to put them through something, like, I'm still going to take it, you know? So yeah, there's those times where people get in the car, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm hyped. This is my chance. You know, this is my chance. Well, yeah, the gym, obviously, because the thing is, you're not going to go to the gym and be, hey, can you just turn this off, please? Can you just turn this whole thing off? Like, I'm biohacking right now. I can't listen to music. So wherever you naturally go, this is amazing. Think about back in the day, right? You know, I always think about this with my I'm not saying for anyone that's a little older here, but like my grandparents would always talk to me about how music was, how like it was very rare to be able to listen to some music unless you had some type of vinyl player. So if you think about this, you know, of how much they didn't get these dopamine fixes, what was created in this time frame? Now try it. Trust me on this. This is good for sales. Okay. Now, your happiness is based off how much you give out and serve. Whatever you lack in the most is where you lack in giving. Man, I don't got no respect. Let's start giving respect. You always talk about people should respect you. Why don't you start respecting the people? But I don't respect that person there. I was like, do you remember when David was gonna like kill what's his name in the cave? And then instead he cut the cloth and he's like, oh no, because God honored him, put him in that position in the first place. He has to honor the person he put in that position. You know, if you can't sit there and be like, well, I don't like the way that he's speaking. Well, first off, who are you? Secondly, you're not on stage. So God put that person on stage and put you in the crowd because maybe there's a lesson to be learned. You know, I learned a long time ago that whatever you honor, you get access to. So now let's go into this. You ready? We're gonna go crazy with this, you know, hopefully, because I don't want to take too much because I think I have a time limit, right? It's like an hour. So for sales, we're gonna go into sales real quick. We're gonna go into everything. I'm also gonna give you guys the templates for my stuff, and I'm also gonna show you the workflow of business and everything. Okay. So here we go. Hold on. Where are we at? Let me fix this. So I learned something. When I went through retracements, I had to figure it out. Has anyone had to figure it out or still trying to figure it out? Yeah, you have to sit there and you have to realize the things that got you to where you're at isn't going to get you to where you need to go. But here's the deal though. You still got to do the things that got you to where you're at. That's the problem. A lot of times people sit there and they're like, oh my gosh, like what got me to where, yeah, but did you stop giving gratitude? Did you stop giving appreciation? Did you stop doing the daily method of operations? Did you stop gathering 22 no's a day? Did you forget about form? Because what we're going to go into is the basics when it comes to sales. For everybody here, like one thing that I'm actually implementing, and I wanted to wait till all the things were knocked out. I literally like organized my office, organized laundry. I was just setting everything up. When you're about to go on a run, you got to set everything up. You got to set your mind up. You got to set your habits up. You got to set your daily method of operations up. You got to set your office up. You got to get everything ready and organized because if you have a cluttered space, you have a cluttered mind. So when you have everything, there you go. Order is heaven's first thought. So when you have everything organized, what I decided to do was I decided to stop doing intros. And what do you think? What do you think I'm doing now? Just wait on God for success. Of course not. You're going to make things happen, right? So I've learned this. We stop training people through examples of what to be. And we got spoiled. And I started looking at this from an interrogation standpoint and a military standpoint of what we used to do when you used to drop significant activities with an area. We had to actually look at everything. So for this, we look at customer acquisition. We look at attrition, which is the amount of people that's leaving. We look at the retention, which is the amount of people that's staying. And then we look at the data of who are becoming successful individuals. Okay, we're about to get into the business stuff here. Okay, so hopefully everybody understands this. How can you expect to have a whole group of savage leaders if you've never showed them an example of what to be? Because what's happened is that we utilize these calls and we forgot what builds the business. We think that systems build the business. Systems are important. We need systems. Who here agrees that we need systems? It saves yourself time, energy, and money. We all understand that. You know, Pastor Craig Rochelle says, whatever happens in the halls is more important than what's written on the walls. So you could have a system, you can have something that's written, but if it's not being done outside, then it just means nothing. Okay. So what built momentum for this industry? What was the duplicate? It was people, wasn't it? It was people. It was people doing what? 2-on-1s, 1-on-1s, 3 phone calls, showing the plan. You know how scared we live in a generation of this business where people on this call, and it's okay, are scared to show the plan by themselves. Am I right? I'm like, hey, you got 3 people interested. Okay. What's today? Okay. The event was Tuesday. So we got to wait till next Tuesday to show these 3 people. They're interested right now. We got to wait till next Tuesday in order for this to work. Actually, oh, wait, no. We got Super Saturday. So what? It's Wednesday right now. So we got to wait till Saturday to show the plan. Do you understand what happens to people's emotions in that time frame? Do you understand what people go through? They get invited to Thirsty Thursday tomorrow. Then they're like, okay, like I'm going out. I'm going to Old Town out here in Scottsdale. Like, we're going to have to have a blast. And they continue this rep bottle blast. You hung out with Alex, right? No, I'm just kidding. So repetition cycle, right? Repetition cycle that happens because we don't show people. We don't show people. How would you feel if you felt comfortable? If Sam over here had 3 people interested, he's like, yo, you interested? It's like, yeah, told you. Yo, how about this? Hop on a Zoom real quick. Go on a Zoom. Boom. Show the plan to 3 people. This is what we do. And then they go through the most basic part, the part that everyone's scared about. You ready for this part? The close. Everyone's scared. They'll do everything but that part. Hey, Sam, what'd you like best? The travel? I'm excited about the travel. We got stocks on the strip coming up. Like, you got, like, registration is on Friday. You got to find a way to be able to go. That's literally one of my favorite parts too. And I'm about to experience that as well. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being this isn't for you, 10 being you're ready to, you're locked in, you're ready to go. Where do you stand? Let's say he says 10. What do most people do at that point? Okay, well, just as soon as you get home, you let me know, and then then you call me, and then we'll get you set up. Does that sound good? Or how about this? Hey, I'm at a 10. Sam, you at a 10? Okay, wait, not yet. I have to show you how to use the scanner first. I got to show you how to use Impulse, right? I know you want to get in right now, but I got to show you how to use Impulse. And then what happens? You show Impulse for the harmonic scanner, and then you have someone that's like, this is way too complicated for me to even do it. I'm out. So can everyone just understand the simple thing of let's get you set up? That's it. Let's get you set up. Let's stop creating these scenarios and these mind. You want to create a scenario? Create a scenario that everybody wants to get set up. Create a scenario that there's something that they want and need within this platform, because it's true. And you think of it from a genuine perspective. Okay. So this is something I had to learn, because I realized that a team isn't going to build my business. I got to build the business. I got to build people up. I got to show the plan to people as much as possible, because I'm going to give you some other things to think about. How many people here were one of the 3% that got set up right away? Type in number 1. That you just saw the plan. You're like, too easy. Let's run it. You ever seen the meme? They made a meme where they put my face on it with the Supreme and the Hennessy bottle. It's like, I F with a vision, fam. I'm trying to build. Hey, so we got some people here that literally didn't take any energy from whoever was showing them to get plugged in. Am I right? So for everybody here that decided to go all in the business, let's say you're P1, P2, let's say P1 or above. P1 or above. How much convincing did it take for you to start building this business? Was somebody being like, yo, you trying to impact the world today? Look at this. Look, for everybody that's watching the chat right now, no convinces. None. 0. None. Right? You get to understand this. Like, I came into this through a YouTube video. That's how I got plugged in. I got sent a YouTube video from my buddy named Casey Gardner. I was living in Texas. He was living in Menifee, California. Sent me a video It was Christopher Terry breaking down the harmonic scanner in 2015. I was already in trading. And I was like, bro, I'm all in. You know how much it was at the time? $500. I signed up through a YouTube video. Casey Gardner, he didn't even sign up. Like, he just showed me the video. You know, like, so like Liddy got plugged in. I was like, oh, let's run it. You know, when Chris Terry asked me to teach in 2016, I was like, at first I said no. And then I was like, you know what? Fine, I'll do it. I volunteered for 2 years with no pay. That involves no convincing. You guys understand this, right? So what I'm trying to show you is there's three parts of the season that I'm in right now. Massive exposure, massive connection, and then massive launch. I put the connection before the launch. The most important thing, if I have any women in here that get plugged in, the first thing I think of who are 2 to 3 women that I could put group chats with that I could plug them with together. Community. You guys understand community is the most important part. I want you to think of people that you could plug them with. It's a benefit if they happen to be in the same business or the same lineage. That'd be awesome. But if not, have that type of unspoken language that you're going to at least pour in. Hey, it's an absolute pleasure to connect with you, because then they're going to be able to do that for somebody else. How many women here would feel comfortable that from the moment that you got plugged in, let's say you got plugged in with myself, and I said, yo, hold up. There's these 2 to 3 individuals. So-and-so does this, and that. She's absolutely phenomenal. I really want you to get connected with her. So I'm going to put you in a group chat so you guys could chop it up and, you know, FaceTime maybe for 2 or 3 minutes. So you just feel more comfortable. You know, I want you to be able to feel, you know, supported within this group. Like, would you feel comfortable? You know, because you got to think about the opposite. I was like, yo, I'm going to put you in 10 group chats with 10 men. Like, it's like, okay, what? But no, but you understand this. It's about making people feel more comfortable. So massive exposure. Why am I focusing on massive exposure right now? Because I got so caught up. I'm being like, okay, I got 94 people on my team. Imagine everyone here on the squad, 94 people on my team. Okay. When's Sam going to pop off? When's Marco's going to go freaking P5000? Oh my gosh. When is Mary going to hit, you know, chairwoman? You know, when Matthew when is he going to decide? You know, I know it was Halloween the other day. It was spooky season and he's turning up, but like, yo, like, when's he going to go all in? You know, like you can't control that. So what's the way to be able to have the best ratio for your success? Massive exposure. Massive exposure. You meet 3 people today. It's like, I'm going to find a way to build a relationship with them, connect with them, and literally just show them the plan. I've had to go old school with this. And guess what happened by going old school with this? I fell in love with the industry again. Because I've heard some crazy stories. I forgot why I was doing this industry. At first, I thought I was doing it for my own rings. Then when you hear people going through some medical issues with their family, then when you hear people that have no other way of being able to create money, when you hear people like constantly, you sit there and you're like, oh my goodness. So that's the reason why I want everyone to do what I'm doing and not do what I did before. Complain. My income is the way that it is. Let me complain. My business is the way that it is. I'm going to complain. Why not create your own momentum? So let's go into the basics. How do you build a relationship with people for everyone that doesn't know? Form. Does anyone know what form is? It's just a baseline. It doesn't mean that you got to stick to the script. It's not like I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what, John, how's your family? Where's your family from? Oh, okay. So what do you do for a living? All right. What do you like to do for fun? Like, it's a baseline. It's a baseline. Okay. Thank you for typing that out. So that's just a baseline. What does CIPF stand for? Conversation, invitation, presentation, follow-up. Conversation, invitation, presentation, follow-up. So this is what I decided to do. So I had this set up, right? I deleted all this and no one cross recruits. That's why I deleted my friends. So no, I'm just messing with y'all. So with this, and I have all my list of people here. I was like, okay, what's that person's name? So with this, it's very simple. Let's say, for instance, I see Sam on the video right now. I'm gonna use you as an example. All right, Sam. That's okay. You ever ask somebody if it's okay to like use the bathroom or eat food and you're just waiting for someone to say no? Hey, is it cool if I use your bathroom? No, it's not okay. It's like we always expect someone to say yes. Okay, let me make sure I spell his name right. Okay, so where'd I meet him? Let's say I met him at I don't know, where would we meet at? Bookstore. It's like a rom-com. There we go. Bookstore. Or let's just say inner circle, right? Here, I type all the conversation of everything that we talked about. Everything that we talked about. So that way, this is on my phone, by the way. So I'm using Notion on my phone. And I'm typing this up. So as soon as I'm talking to Sam and I meet him, build a relationship with him, and I get to know him, all I'm doing is I'm just typing the conversation. So that way I don't forget anything when I reach out to him. Okay. And then I have this. Let's say I talked to him today. So I put the second. I built the formula here to where it tells me that, because I'm going to talk to him. Let's say, for instance, as fast as possible, I put CIPF. I got invitation, show the plan, and follow up. This is the most basic thing in the world, but it's everything when you have it organized. So let's say, for instance, I talk to him, I invite him, I show, like, let's say how I invite him. I build the relationship. Let's say, here's a tip. Hopefully everyone's following me so far. I talk really fast sometimes. Is everybody following me so far? No one's lost? Okay. So, and is it okay if I keep going? I know it's a little over time. Like, you want me to keep going? Because if you got to close out the call, it's okay. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. I was expecting a yes. So, but no, I'm just kidding. So let's say me and Sam are talking. Here's a tip that works well. Maybe he's seen my social media, or maybe he hasn't. Maybe we built a relationship. I get the social media. I get his phone number. I get all his information just to connect with him. The first time of talking to him, I'd ask everything about him. I try to find points. So he's like, man, I've been working and all this. Like, you like it? How you like it? So I'm just building this relationship with him. The best way to be charming is if you're always making it about the other person. And right before you want to pique interest and invite the person, right before you pique interest and invite the person, I say, all right, Sam, it was a pleasure connecting with you, bro. I'll catch up with you sometime. Hey, hope you have a good day at work tomorrow. Hey, stay strong. It's okay. Just, I know you're going through some things. You know, the first interaction with somebody, I never invite them, ever. So what I do is like, literally, I do my 50 to 100 people a day. You build a relationship. Like, you could do beginner, intermediate, advanced, 20, 50, 100. Okay. I had to do all this because I didn't like being a retracement. Charm is just charm. Charm is charming. Yeah. Okay. So this is what I have to do in order to get to the, and for some people, like, oh, you get to do it. Yeah, I get to do it, but I also have to do it. Okay. I have to do this. So Sam all of a sudden goes on my social media, stalks it. Deep down inside, he's wondering why I didn't invite him to show him what I do. Because I have his phone number, I could text him like, hey, man, when you got 5 minutes to talk, I was just thinking about you. He's like, what? For any person that hears that someone said, I'm thinking about you, they'd be like, yo, I got 5 minutes to talk. Here's the thing. Remember what I said about no music and no social media? Guess what turns into your social media now? People. Hey, yo, Sam, I know you only got like 5 minutes, but I literally was just thinking about a conversation that we had yesterday. He's like, for real? I was like, yeah, dude, I've been through your situations. You know, I've been at that place where I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I was going through some, toxicity in my life and dealing with somebody who made me feel insignificant. Bro, you remind me a lot of myself and a lot of the people that I actually spend time with. All of us have been through some different trials and tribulations. And honestly, you would kill it at what I'm learning right now. But what are you learning? Dude, honestly, I don't have that much time to break it down. It would be an absolute disservice to show you for me talking on the phone. I want you to see it the way I saw it and to experience it the way I experienced it. So when you have time to just hop on a Zoom call, I'll send you my Calendly real quick. For like, why you got a Calendly for? Because I'm professional. So then you send the Calendly, like, yo, which time works best for you? Okay, so you go, so what is it? I was like, I don't know. I don't know what you'll like. That's the whole point. Like, I'm not going to decide things for you. I'd rather you decide for yourself. All right. So, okay, we're good. It says 5 o'clock. We're going to get on a call tomorrow. Is there any reason why you couldn't be on that call? And if he says, I got to take, maybe he has kids. I got to take my kid. I got to pick up my kid from practice or drop him off practice. I say, okay, cool. So what time would actually be best? Oh, 6 o'clock. Okay. If they think of the second time, then that means what? They're actually giving you the real time. And that's it. Boom, done. Does everybody understand this? The first introduction to a person, you're getting to know them, so that way you could fill up this point of conversation. And then you contact, and then you invite, and then you show the plan. Now, let's say, for instance, they say no, or not yet. What's cool about this is I created the formula to where it says every month, time to reach out. For everyone that does business, who knows that that's very important. Every month, all of a sudden, a month later, I reach out to Sam. Yo, Sam, what's up, man? How are you? I was like, I was just thinking about you. And it's not a lie. You look at the name, he pops up in your head, you're thinking about him. I'm like, okay, so you're thinking about him. And I was like, I don't feel right. I was like, okay, cool. Give me that contact. I'm just kidding. So, hey, Sam, yo, how's everything been since the last time we talked? Like, did you have any progress with your situation? Yeah, I just wanted to catch up. And you never know if he's like, yeah. I was like, and honestly, maybe one day we'll work together. Maybe there's something that I could be able to provide for you at some time. But if you ever need me, just let me know. We could chop it up. You know, is there anything I could do for you? That's it. Just follow up. Everybody understand that part. CIPF. So imagine if you do 20, 50 to 100. 20, 50 to 100 conversations start every single day. But where do I go? Man. Do you want me to give you guys the secret sauce of where to go to find people? I got to see if people are still paying attention, if people are excited about it. This is what I decided to do. I said, how do I build this business like a military person taking over an entire province? I know that sounds psychotic, okay? Sounds psychotic. You got people at the edge of the seat. That's called sales. Do you really want to know what we got going on? Because it's crazy. You got a TikToker that partnered up with us that's like 7 million followers, that's teaching us how to scale our social media. Like, you'd kill it. Your personality, the way that you are, oh my goodness. The TikToker, I was like, yeah, you don't understand, like, we're transitioning. Like, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. Anyone that's going stocks on the strip is the ultimate marketing tool. Going to stocks on the strip. I'm literally going to stocks on the strip. What does that mean? I know it sounds weird. I promise you it's G-rated because it sounds crazy. Some people are like, what are you doing over there? But no, we're going to Vegas, which still sounds bad. But we have literally one of the top stocks futures, creator for the Academy that literally has been featured in like Bloomberg and CNN is going to be doing a 4-hour mastermind. Like, you have all these tools that's here, but we got to use it. You just got to learn how to use language of communication to inspire somebody. Okay. To inspire somebody. If you say this information will honestly create ripple effects into your entire life for the people that you meet based off the things that you learn. What I'm doing is I'm taking the communication aspect using water, ripple effects to like make people think. Okay. So let's go here. I'm going to show you this. Whatever. We could have friendly competition on this. It's fine. I'm going to my notebooks. Here we go. Hawaiian launch. You guys see this? This is how crazy. It's how crazy. Now, if you look at my social media, if you look at following, I have 6,539 people that I'm following. Over a couple of days ago, I had 7,500. You could only follow 7,500 people. Did you guys know that? You could only follow 7,500 people. So what I decided to do, so that way no one goes into Instagram jail, is to unfollow 40 people every hour, every single day for 5 hours, which is 200 people. So I can't even fully do this game plan right now until I'm done unfollowing. For anybody here, if I unfollow you, it's not because I'm like upset at you or whatever. I had some people already do that. Like, it's weird. I don't know if you guys have an app or something, but people be like, why'd you unfollow me? Like, because I'm trying to impact people. Okay. So I'm going to have it go all the way down to like maybe 500 to 1,000 people that I'm following. And then what I'm going to do is this. You guys see this right here? This population? I want you to pick, for everybody here, I want you to pick a place that you want to build business in, a place that you want to travel to, right? Somebody write in the chat real quick. What's the place that you want to travel to? Like that you would actually go back and forth to go build business at. There you go. You got Italy, you got South Africa, you got Greece, Turks, Greece, Middle East. Okay. How about this? For right now, what state? You guys, let's make this easier for y'all. I love it. I love the countries. I picked the country of Hawaii, so I'm good. So, okay, California. Now, check this out. Have you ever tried, let's say, for instance, you're in the ocean. You're in the ocean, the middle of the ocean. Would you rather fish with a fishing pole or those crazy nets that they got that you see in those like Netflix shows where they like, have like the whole thing, they go down and they get all that stuff? Would you rather catch it in a net or would you rather catch by just fishing and be like, hopefully I catch one today that decides to go all in and decides to pop off? Hopefully I get that one. Have you noticed that we do that? We go into Facebook groups or we go into Instagram groups or whatever groups. And we're like, okay, I got all these people that are all spread out everywhere. Check this out. So what I'm doing is I'm focusing on Big Island, Hawaii. Why? Because I went out there and I also could see, it just reminds me of my culture, okay, of Filipinos and everything. And it's crazy how people who are born in Hawaii, they'll never, like, majority of them won't even be able to buy a home in the place that they grew up in because of how much it costs. And also, it's the most drug use per capita increasing in any other state. Because for everybody else's paradise is their prison. You guys understand this, right? So when I talk to the guys out here that are from Hawaii, from Big Island, and they used to do an energy drink company, you know what that is, and they killed it. So what I did was I wrote down the population of the place, which is 200,629. Why did I put the population there? So that way, out of sight, out of mind, see in sight, I never give up. Because unless I talk to 200,629 people, then I just keep going. Then I put the population of all the top cities in the bottom. So I don't want to focus on any of these cities. I want to focus on creating events where people come from outside going into the cities. Because here's a tip. Who here has had success building business in big cities? Like you have the craziest movements in those cities. No. I'm talking about like you have the craziest movements in the heart, like the city, like hundreds and thousands of people. Have you noticed that majority of the people that say they're from, let's say, Seattle are actually from the outside cities? Everybody who says are from Miami are really from like Hialeah, Miramar. It's not Miami. So I was like, okay, so what do you do then? What you do is you do this. Geotags these locations via Instagram, Facebook. You want to look for places that are like this: churches, malls, theaters, restaurants, like literally like high traffic areas. They got beaches there, so top beaches, hikes, everything. All these geotags of these locations. And it's so easy because you could just go on Google Maps. That's how I found all these cities. And what I'm doing is I'm starting 20, there's a beginner, intermediate, advanced, 20, 50, 100. So either you do 20, 50, or 100 conversations, 10 people on the hour for every hour on the hour, maybe for 5 to 10 hours. And I'm going to start at this city, this city, this city. And all I'm doing is I'm starting conversations. Now, for everybody that has seen my Instagram and social media, for someone who's not in business, do you guys feel that it would pique your interest with what I do? Like, okay, this is high quality content. There's some value in here. What does this guy do? Okay. What I'm doing is I'm going to one city, and all I'm doing is I'm starting conversations in one city. Do you guys understand what I'm doing here? I'm focusing on one city, taprooting, starting conversations, everybody that lives in that city, everyone who took pictures at that mall, everyone who took pictures in the gym or geotagged themselves at that beach. What am I doing? I'm doing 20 to 50 to 100 people a day. Imagine if I do six days a week, because Sunday, rest, God, trust me, it'll help. But like 6 days, there's 600 people that I built relationships with in those cities. 600. Now, how do I build the relationship? I like their pictures, I follow them, and I look at one of the pictures and I do a well thought out comment to what I see in that picture. Wow, dude, this photo is sick. I love the drip. Like, where'd you, those shoes are fire. What are those? Blah, 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 blah. Actually, you know what? I just direct message you. Do you see what I'm doing here? So I like all the pictures. I followed. I said, I just direct message you. So I commented. There's a high statistical chance that they will get you out of the message request. You see what I'm saying here? And the whole goal, did I say close people? I said start conversations. And if you start those conversations, do you feel that if I'm focusing on one area, that I could be able to get on calls with people, get to know them get to know their story, find out their plan, share my story, share my plan, and see if they want to have the same plan. What I keep doing it to one city until what? I build a P1K there. Then what I do all my target demographic to the city that is on the border of it until I get another P1K there, and then I cross those people to meet together. So they start doing events together. Do you guys see this? Is this complicated or is this pretty simple? This target demographic, your whole explore page is going to be whatever state that you chose, whatever country that you chose. The reason why this is important is so that way you could be able to build. So how does this work? Okay, you guys understand that, right? Let's finish this off, right? You guys getting value from this? Hopefully everyone, I know it's a lot of information, but it took heavy levels of retracement to figure this stuff out. You think I'm going to sit here 2 years ago when I started going through this? I was like, nah, I got to figure something out. We got to figure something out. So now here's how I'm doing with the leaders. Okay, let's say, for instance, the workflow. I have people within the business. So when I have people within the business, I do this. I have them, this is the workflow that I have people go through. Because remember, I said massive exposure, massive connection, and then massive launch. I understand that the attrition rate of people leaving the business is high if you don't go through this process. So what I do is I get their names, then their social medias. And what I do is I send out their social media to everyone in the group. So everybody follows each other. Like this right here could be a way for everyone to stay connected. Like literally, imagine this. You get put into a chat, everyone's showing love, and then everyone's following you. And then all you see is people who are going hard in the business. Trading, e-commerce. That's all you're seeing. Okay? I have their why and their story. Why did I put their why in their story? Okay, I put their why in story so that way you could be able to, I write their entire story, I type it out, I take a picture of it, and I send it to them. Why do I do that? So now before every event and before every training, they read this. Before every, let's say 2-on-1, they read this. So they remember their story. The problem is we keep throwing people to the wolves and to the sharks to use that as training rather than preparing them to speak, right? Who here would feel comfortable if I wrote down your entire story of who you are as a person, put it in here, took a picture of it, sent it to you. Now you know your script to when you're about to talk to maybe 2 or 3 people. Would that benefit you guys? So then I have their why here too as well, so they can see their why. And then I go through this workflow. Check out this workflow. Tell me if you guys like it. So non-negotiables, I send them all this stuff here. I'm going to give to you guys, by the way. So non-negotiables, I have this stuff here. So you can see it. right? Journaling, water, coffee, cold exposure, breath work, check all messages, create your posts, engage, Instagram live, session go live, 1 in 3 trades, drawn or taken, CIPF, gather your no's, gather your no's, which is 22 no's a day, gym, cardio, reading, content creation, study time, study my calendar and Todoist. So with that, I help them with their non-negotiables, and then I help them with their battle station, because there's two types of people in the business. They either want to be a student and get it for free, or they want to be a student and they want an extra $600 a month for their skill. Who here wants an extra $600 for their skill? It's very simple. That's the problem. We focus on getting everybody chairman, chairwoman, not realizing we focus on two basic things. If I have a room full of people and there's 4 people, 2 of them students that want it for free, 2 of them people that want to have 600 for their skill. Now I can sit there, if it's a training or a mastermind or a super Saturday, I said, okay, where are you guys at in the Notion? Let me help you get yours for free. Let me help you guys with your guys' battle station and get your 600 a month. It's always moving forward. It's never just sitting there. How many times have you been to trainings or whatever, and everyone's just sitting there doing nothing, just waiting for things to happen? So now we got to guide people through this process. I help them with their battle station. I'll be done in 3 minutes. I help them with their battle station. So I give them their calendar system, which is fantastical. I give them an app called Todoist, which is your to-do app. So anytime that you have anything, let's say, for instance, I talk to you guys, it's either going to go into a calendar or it's going to go into a to-do task. So if I'm over here and I'm talking to Sam, and he's like, yo, bro, we got this call that's happening. I was like, all right, cool. I put in my Fantastical. Or he's like, hey, man, can you check up on this one person, their volume or something? I'll put it in my Todoist. Why? Because our brains are meant for having ideas, not holding them. So now what I'm doing is I'm increasing the chances of someone being massively successful. What I'm doing is I'm tricking people to become successful. Bro, I just set up your calendar system. I just gave you non-negotiables. You're already connected to everybody. You have your why and you have your story. So I'm increasing the chances. Doesn't mean that I'm expecting you to go all in, but I'm giving you everything that I can. So whether you go all in or you don't, I know that I gave you everything. Okay. Then I have them choose their academy, their 2 to 3 educators, and their strategy. Another key point here. Check this out. Do you have this for your people? Do you have the academy that they're focusing on? Check. Do you have the educator that they're focusing on? Check. Do you have the strategy that they're focusing on? Check. Can you honestly sit there in front of your entire team and know that all of them has their academy, they have the educators that they're watching on a consistent basis, and then they have the strategy that they're focusing on? What did people sign up for? People signed up to be successful. All you're doing is you're increasing all this. You're just helping everybody. So what do you think they're going to do for their people? The same workflow. Okay? The same workflow. So that's what I use. What I'm going to do is for everybody that wants the Notion templates. That's right here. So you could copy that whole thing. Okay. So there's your Notion template. So you have your content, your non-negotiables, your weekly plan, your friends, and in your business. For the content wise, if you look at it like this, what I do is anytime that I have a content idea, I type it in here. Doesn't mean that I do it. It means I just type it in here. All right. So let's say I start to do it. Momentum of decisions. I put it in progress and review, and then it's published. And that's it. The whole point is if you have your friends part and your business part and your content part and your non-negotiables, you could put all your business into that battle station, that second brain. And the moment you turn off your phone or you close your laptop, you can focus on your family. And the moment that you open up your laptop, you start where you left off. Whoever feels it helps you with your peace of mind. Everything's in there. You could spend time with family. You could spend time with loved ones. You could go to the gym. You could do all these things, knowing that all you got to do is just open it up and be like, oh, well, I got to follow up with these people. I got to do this with this person. I got to invite these 3 people. I got to help this person with their Notion. That's all it is. Okay. Now, the last thing on sales is this. What I challenge y'all to do this, and I know it's going to be difficult, but I realize this to have momentum. In order for things to work, We have to show people how to do it. So what I decided to do for a specific direct teams that need my help is I set up a Calendly system. I'll show you. So I go Calendly. And like I said, we stopped doing intro calls because I realized that we were robbing people of them being in this business, of them knowing what this business is like. Like there's a missing piece here. Okay. And I saw that, I believe Richard was on this call, and I appreciate Richard so much. I didn't get a chance to tell you this, but he talked about edification. He talked about uplifting. Who here understands the power of uplifting? Here. So look at this. So I set up a Calendly system so where if they want to book something, they have all these spots for the whole day. And I want people to just, for this phase of 90 days, to just run through it. Why is this important? Because let's say, for instance, I'm here and I'm talking to, let's say, Taylor. Imagine him experiencing this. He has 4 or 5 people interested. How do I get him to be trained and proficient at being a professional in this industry? By doing all the intro calls and for him and then popping off. And then what happens? If I stop, then what happens to the business? How do we build people up? So all of a sudden, Taylor now is hyped and excited, has 4 people that's interested, goes on the Calendly. Someone, let's say he's talking to Sam, and Sam's a new person. He's like, hey, man, you know, how about this? Here's the Calendly. You pick a time, and I'll pick the same time, so we book it. I get a text message notification. You get reminded an hour before the call. The whole point is this, to not rob people of the training and the experience of this industry. Now, Taylor gets on, and what he does is he edifies Sam to me. Now, what was the word? And shout out to Richard for this. What was the other word for edification? Uplift. Uplift. Every single person is in a state of receivership if you uplift another person. If you uplift them, if you encourage them, you pour into them, they're just open. Like, for real, try being grumpy and pissed off if someone's just pouring into you and saying all the nice things about you. It's like, oh my gosh, like you're amazing. Like, these are the things I see. And the whole point is that Taylor is looking for all the great qualities of Sam. You know that you did a good uplifting if you could tell that Sam's low-key being a little bit emotional. You know? So he's saying all this stuff about Sam, all the stuff that he sees about Sam. Then he uplifts me to Sam. And then from that point, what do you think I do next? He mutes himself. I say, hey, Sam, like, it's an absolute pleasure to connect with you. Like, I've heard nothing but great things about you. But before we even get started, I want you to know who you're connected with. Taylor, oh my gosh, I've watched his growth. I've watched his transformation. So I highly suggest to just stick with him, because he's the type of person that when he commits to do the things that he wants to do, he gets it done. You see how I'm uplifting now? Like, it's like we just uplifted each other. And what do I do for the next 10, 15 minutes? I break down the plan. I break down my story. I show the plan. And on the call, guess what I do? Perfect. So what'd you like best, Sam? I'm closing in front of him. Now, if he experiences 4 times, Taylor, how would you feel about closing people? Would you feel a little bit more comfortable? How would you feel about showing the plan? Would you feel more comfortable? What I decided to do was I put a boundary in place. And I said, I will do this for people until they're 600. 600, then you leave me the hell alone. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, until they're 600. Why? Because I want them to experience what it's like for me to get rejected, what it's like for me to close, the way that I'm able to go through the different rebuttals, the way that I break down the platform, the way that I break down my story, the way that I uplift. And through that experience, all the way until he's 600, how much training has he got through observation? How much more comfortable do you think that he will be now to build the business, to share this with other people? That's the problem, is that we got to a place where we spoiled everybody. So I know that in this season, I challenge everybody here that has, if you have one person on your team, a leader of one is a leader of many. Allow yourself to be available and to go into phase 1 and to say, this is trench mode. You want momentum, but yet you won't start it. This is the sacrificial serving that it takes to have people who are sacrificial at serving. The problem is we just want those, we just expect an Alex Moore in our business, and then boom, it's a success. There are a lot of chairmen. If I look through the, like, this is why I feel confident, and this is for everybody here. I'm not exposing nobody, but a lot of people that act certain ways, ignore them. Focus on your serving. Focus on what you can do, because you could get attached to other people's positions, even though God doesn't want you to be looking at that when he wants to place you somewhere else. So, like, think about it. Just don't worry about it, because a lot of people, you're going to see this. I'm watching the transition. The people who have a strong foundation in serving others and a strong faith are the ones that's going to the top right now. And the ones that have a foundation that's built on sand is falling apart. People who were once chairman, top chairmans, will never be chairman again if they don't get their head out of their butt to continue to serve again. So it's prime for the taking to be leadership within this business. This is the tough pill that I had to swallow. I had to talk to myself. I had to look at myself and say, in order for me to go to that next level, you got to serve. Are you willing to do 15, 20 calls a day? Are you willing to show people what it's like to get to that next level? To train people by showing them, not by telling them, but by showing them. So who here is ready for that type of momentum? Who here is down to do that for your team? Just type the number one. You can't expect your team to see something like, you got to go through this process. If there's no cross edification, there's no uplifting, you never have momentum. Okay. Just want to leave it with that. Yo, I appreciate you guys for allowing me to come on here for 90 minutes. You know, this could be a good thing or a bad thing. This might be the last time I'm ever on this call. Or I might get chosen again in the future. Who knows? But I just wanted to give as much as possible, because that was what's on my heart, to help everybody, because I'm tired of seeing people not in momentum and thinking that you're a problem, that there's something wrong with your mind, that you're inadequate or you're insignificant. No, you just need direction, and you just need someone to pour into you and to have the intangibles seen. Okay. So for everybody here, I declare great wealth for everybody, and for you to be able to step into your leadership position, and for everybody to step into your kingdom identity. So that way you guys could be able to be anointed the way that you're called to be anointed. But you can't be anointed for something if you're not accepting the challenge. There's no point. Okay. So I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. And hopefully Joey's on here. I know I've been on for a long time. Do you want me to close this out?
Yeah, you can close this out, brother. My daughter's over here. I got to get her ready for bed. She's starting to scream. So I appreciate you,
guys,
bro.
I'm gonna end it, and you guys have a wonderful day and night, wherever you guys are at in the world, and peace.
Let's go.